Nestled between emerald hills and whispering trees lay a quiet village, untouched by time. Life moved slowly there, and the people, though simple, carried hearts full of stories. One crisp morning, a figure appeared at the edge of the village. He was an old man, hunched but graceful, with a long crooked staff and eyes that sparkled like morning dew. His robe was worn, his sandals thin, but his smile warmed the coldest wind. He called himself Clever Baba. No one knew where he came from. But each day, he could be found helping someone, patching a broken roof, calming a crying child, carrying water for the tired. He never asked for money. Never asked for food. "Kindness is my wealth," he'd say, and walk away humming old tunes that no one remembered but somehow knew. The villagers adored him. But not all hearts were open. Ramu, the shopkeeper, a man with a heavy purse and a heavier suspicion, watched Baba closely. He leaned on his counter and sneered, "No one's that kind for free." He narrowed his eyes. He must be hiding something. And just like that, the seed of doubt was planted. The rain fell in heavy sheets, drumming against rooftops and soaking the earth in silence. Most villagers had gone to sleep, but not Ramu. Inside his grand shop, stacked high with sweets, grains, and glimmering golden coins, he paced with restless thoughts. His eyes narrowed at the storm, and then at the tiny, flickering light across the road, Clever Baba's humble hut. "This is my chance," Ramu whispered. He tossed a ragged shawl over his shoulder, smeared a bit of dirt on his face, and stumbled through the rain. Reaching Baba's door, he knocked weakly, voice trembling, "Please. Baba. I've lost everything. No food, no hope." The door creaked open. There stood Baba, eyes filled not with suspicion but with pure, unshaken compassion. Without a word, he stepped aside and pointed to a small plate on his table. "One last piece of dry bread." He offered it with both hands and a gentle smile. "What we give," he said softly, "comes back in ways we can't imagine." Ramu took the bread, barely hiding the smirk tugging at his lips. As he turned away into the night, he whispered to himself, "What a fool." But fate, as always, had its own plans. Just 1 week later, the skies darkened again. But this time, the rain came. Angry, howling winds tore through the hills, and thunder cracked open the night. The peaceful village trembled. Trees fell. Roofs flew. And by morning, Ramu's grand shop, his pride, his fortress, was nothing but splintered wood and scattered coins soaked in mud. He sat in the square, drenched and broken. All his riches, gone in a night. As the villagers gathered around to assess the damage, one figure stepped forward through the mist. It was Clever Baba, leaning on his crooked staff, eyes as kind as ever. Behind him came the villagers, carrying tools, blankets, and baskets of food. Without hesitation, Baba knelt beside Ramu and began picking up shattered pieces of wood. Ramu, stunned and ashamed, whispered, "Why would you help me, after I lied to you?" Baba looked up, his face calm like still water. He placed a gentle hand on Ramu's shoulder and said, "Because everyone deserves a second chance, even the greedy." In that moment, Ramu felt something shift. Not in his fortunes, but in his heart. Months passed, and where once stood a ruined shop now rose a new one, brighter than ever, not just in color, but in spirit. Ramu stood behind the counter, but his eyes no longer counted coins, they searched for those in need. Each morning, he set aside bags of grain and sweets for the hungry. Children giggled as he handed them warm bread with a smile. He gave freely, not because he had to, but because he now understood why he should. And with every act of kindness, he shared the story. "Once, I tricked a poor man named Baba, hoping to prove he was a fool. But when I lost everything, he gave me more than food, he gave me forgiveness." The villagers listened, wide-eyed and quiet. Some cried. Others smiled. One little boy asked, "Was Baba rich?" Ramu knelt down and said, "He was the richest man I've ever met." He looked out the window, where Baba had once walked with his crooked staff, and added softly, "Sometimes, the poorest man gives the richest lessons. And the greatest wealth isn't gold, but kindness." And in that village nestled in the hills, kindness bloomed forever.